Hey, in this video, we want to discuss what makes better sense, to apply for business credit first or credit repair. So that way, you can leverage your business credit to acquire profits, whether it's in your business or in your real estate investing. Hey, how's it going, friend? I'm Juan Pablo from 100% Finance, where we help investors just like yourself acquire the credit, the business funding, as well as the knowledge so that you can obtain cash flowing multi-unit rental properties. And if you're new to the channel, just make sure you subscribe so you get notifications of all of our new video releases, as well as check out the descriptions below because we have a ton of great resources, whether it's webinars or tools to help you on your journey to becoming a full-time financially free real estate investor. Now, if you stay to the end of this video, I have a special bonus and you don't want to miss it. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, I get it. You might be in the mindset of, hey, I think the two, business credit as well as personal credit, should be mutually exclusive, Juan Pablo. I mean, if I want to start a business or if I want to get started in real estate investing, why on earth does a lender need to check out my personal credit? Because I'm borrowing this money for business use. So I get it. I was in the same mindset as well. But you have to think of it from this standpoint. If you're new to investing or new to business without a proven track record, it can be somewhat difficult for lenders to lend you money without taking a look at your personal credit. And let me paint this picture or prove my point through this analogy. Let's say you have a broke cousin Larry, right? And let's say broke cousin Larry, he's always asking for something. Hey, cuz, let me borrow $1. Let me borrow $10. Let me borrow $100. You know I got you. No, you don't. You never got me. You never repay me back, cousin Larry. You're always asking. Hand is always out. But when it comes to paying me back, you're ghost. Nowhere to be found. Or you're filled with a ton of excuses as to why you can't pay me back based upon or agreed upon terms. So let's say broke cousin Larry, he reaches out to you and he asks for some money. Would you give it to him? Maybe not, especially if he has that track record of not honoring his obligations, meaning repaying his debt to you or other family members. You might be skeptical, right? Now let's say broke cousin Larry asks you for some money, but it's for a bright business idea he has. Hey cuz, I have this brand new business idea I think will work. Can I borrow some money? Would you lend to him in that scenario? You might be skeptical again. Why? Because for one, he has a negative track record of repaying his debts. And for two, even though it might be a great business idea, it hasn't been implemented. There's no proven track record, right? It's just an idea, right? And he's asking for a lot of money. Okay, now let's just say broke cousin Larry is at Thanksgiving and he's like begging and pleading and he says to you, well, it's, lending me this money has nothing to do with my personal credit or my personal experience with you and lending you money. Well, actually it does, right? Because you being a lender in this case, you can probably care less about how valid his business idea is. Now, the only exception is that if he had a bad borrowing history, but he already had a business with a proven track record and he's asking to borrow money so that way he can take his business to the next level. It's different if he had a conversation with you saying, hey, sure, I know I had a bad borrowing record in the past, but hey, I repaid my debts. Because look, I repaid you, my business is prospering, look at my books. Hey, here are my books right here, look at them. And guess what? I have a really good problem on my hands. I need more capital to produce more product because I have a huge demand with little supply. That's why I'm asking for that money. That'll be a totally different story. So in that situation, you might be able to extend money to your cousin Larry so that he can grow his business. Now, I'm going to correlate that to how big banks think, right? Big banks meaning these guys. This is my money team business credit, okay? I have a lot. These are the cards, higher than the deck of playing cards. One day I'm gonna get a deck of playing cards to prove to you. But these are the cards that cannot fit in my wallet. Okay, I gotta wrap a rubber band around it. Yeah, or just carry them like this. And so I have a lot of business credit cards, right, with huge limits, but it didn't start out that way. So I too, going on this quest to acquire funding so I can invest in real estate, I was met with a lot of constraints simply because of my personal credit. and I thought it was unfair. But the banks think the same way as you may think towards your cousin Larry, right? The banks, they'll say, okay, does this person have a reputable business in which they can prove through documentation the profitability or performance of this business? Do they have bank statements? Do they have merchant account statements? Does this business have a physical address? Do they have a 1-800 number? Are they listed in a 411? Do they have a paydex score? And if any of these terms sound like a foreign language to you, then that means that you probably don't have it. And I'm not throwing any shade here, okay? Just being very transparent. So the bank will say, okay, well, this person cannot prove the profitability of this business based upon full documentation. I'll be willing to extend business credit to this newfound business. Again, they didn't have any proven track record. If I can take a look at the borrowing history of the person who's applying for the business credit. I want to take a look at their personal credit. Because if they're faithful with the few, they'll be rule over much. Meaning, if they're faithful with their personal credit, managing their personal finances, more than likely, not saying it's 100% of the case, but more than likely, that will correlate to them effectively managing the finances of a business. Because you got to think of it like this way, thinking in regard to how the banks think. If this person cannot manage their personal finances, which is predicated or showcased, I should say, through their FICO score, their credit score, then how on earth are they going to manage the finances of a business? Because a business, there's a lot more transactions going on than you personally. There's a lot more management going on than just managing the affairs of your household. There's a lot more moving wheels that goes along with the business. Does that make sense? So banks think that way. Okay, if the person doesn't have the proven track record, which I can see through their full documentation, then I'd be willing to extend to them business credit if I take a look at their personal credit. Now, if this person doesn't have either one, the proven track record, which you can see through full documentation, so I know I'm being repetitive, so my apologies. Or I can't take a look at their good credit. I take a look at their credit and I don't really see good credit on there. Then I may have reservations because it's a huge risk. It makes sense, doesn't it, right? So I didn't want to belabor the point too much, but I just want to drive home that point because I get a lot of feedback. And by the way, thanks for all your comments, by the way. I know you put a lot of comments asking questions, so if you have additional comments, please comment below. But I get that question asked often, and many people think that's unfair. It's not really unfair, it's just the logic that the banks have, point blank period. So of course there's ways of getting around it if you have a co-signer, or if you have a private lender just wanting to lend you money. But I'm speaking specifically of getting business credit through the major banks. These bad boys right here, okay? And I use this for real estate investing because they say yes to every deal that I do, right? Unlike reaching out to private money, let's say partners, they too might want to check out your proven track record. So if you don't have it, then you're in a catch-22, meaning, well, I need the capital to invest, but first I gotta invest to get the experience so then I can raise capital. It's the catch-22. I was in the same situation. So what I did is I leveraged my personal credit by getting this. So let's get into the answer. I know it was long-winded, but I just want to explain that mindset, okay? So should you apply for business credit first or credit repair if you know you need credit repair to begin with? Great question, right? I get that question asked often. I highly recommend applying for business credit first. Why is that? Well, this is the reason. And I'm sharing this through personal experience, okay? With the same route that I took. As you can tell, I practice what I preach, okay? So I'm not just making this up or speaking in hypothetical terms or theories. It's things I've actually done and gained results so that you can get the same results, okay? Now, one of the things I've done first is I applied for business credit. Why? Because when you apply, you'll have someone called a business credit coach advise you on your business credit needs. And that's what I did. So in my own personal situation, I had a 680 credit score. I had a few collections and some late pays in my credit report. So my credit report wasn't squeaky clean. It wasn't that pretty credit, that Holly Berry credit. It's so pretty, every bank wants to say yes to you, right? I didn't have the Holly Berry credit or the Naomi Campbell credit. Cause I had a commenter one time, this is a tangent. They're like, why you gotta say Holly Berry credit? Like only Holly Berry can be pretty. Why not Naomi Campbell or anyone? Hey, whoever you think is pretty, despite the color of their skin or their gender, just fill in the blank. pretty credit, all right? That makes it work better. But I didn't have pretty credit. I had ugly credit. Well, it wasn't too ugly. It was basic credit. It was decent credit, okay? And when I applied for business credit, unbeknownst to me, I was able to qualify for up to $10,000. But this is the mindset I had prior to applying. My mindset was, well, I got 680, I know I need a 720 to qualify. Again, it's just my own thinking, not me doing research, it's just my assumptions. I need a 720 plus I need to remove these collections, these late pays, so I probably won't even qualify. So let me still stay in credit repair. I'm glad I didn't have that mindset, right? Or I'm glad I didn't move forward with that mindset, I should say. I said, you know what do I have to lose? If I apply for business credit and I have this person called a business credit coach me on what I need to do to get business credit, then why not? Because there could be things outside of my personal credit that may needs to get rectified prior to getting business credit, okay? Because credit repair typically removes negative items, but there's things that impact your chances of getting business credit, such as your debt utilization, how much debt you have charged your credit cards. That has nothing to do with removing negative items in credit repair, okay? So I applied. I reached out to my business credit coach, John, at the time. And after he took a look at my personal credit, and I shared with him, I was being very transparent, what I'm looking to do, what I'm looking to use this business credit for, which is real estate investing. He said, okay, Juan, based upon what you told me and taking a look at your credit report, you can qualify up to $10,000 right now as you stand. But if you're able to remove these collections, pay this Bank of America credit card down by $1,300, and if you're able to dispute these late pays, then after you do all those things I just named, then you should be able to qualify up to $20,000. So those are your two options. Get $10,000 today or $20,000 tomorrow, assuming you do those things in regard to your credit that I just described. So I thought about it and I said, okay, appreciate you sharing that, John, but I think I'm gonna go with option A. I need a deal. I can use $10,000 from this business credit to go towards either paying down personal credit or use that towards a deal. So let's go with option A. You see? Now, if I was just in the mindset of, well, let me still do credit repair to remove these late pays and collections, I probably would have got qualified for funding maybe months or weeks down the road. Of course, I might have got $20,000 at that time, don't get me wrong, but still, I wouldn't have got the capital right away. Okay, so that's what I recommend from my own personal experience. Of course, do your own research, perform your own due diligence, but I recommend for you to apply for business credit so that you can receive the free advice. You can't pass that up. And if you don't qualify, you'll receive an email. Don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel dejected because you didn't qualify for funding. If you didn't qualify to resolve the credit, just make sure you enroll in credit repair and you get it fixed and you go back at it. Right? Sometimes that's how success works. You got to take one step forward, and you might have to take one step backwards to take two steps forward, if that makes sense. Because we all have to go through that. Don't get me wrong. But as long as you stay on your course to that final destination, which is financial freedom. Hey, before I forget, I want to make sure I share with you the bonus. So the bonus is this. It's based upon my personal experience, okay? So it's a lesson to be learned from the good and the bad that I've gone throughout this journey to become financially free. Because I had a deep desire to be financially free through real estate investing. Now, you might have just watched this video just to get business credit for your business or credit repair for personal needs, but I highly recommend you to have a slight change in your mindset to do these things in regard to business, real estate investing, and so forth. So here's the bonus. I thought, being that I had bad credit starting off, that I had to pay all my debt off. I thought I had to be 100% debt-free, zero debt. So I was on a quest for about 2 years, just being aggressive with paying down personal credit card debt, not business credit cards, but personal credit card debt. So I was ferocious with it. Every dime I received outside of paying for necessities, rent, food, water, stuff like that, it went towards paying down credit card debt, personal credit card debt. To the point, after 2 years, I became 100% debt free. Then I started applying for mortgages. And then when I started applying for mortgages, then I had someone advise me, a mortgage broker, and said, oh, you really didn't have to pay down all that debt, which is good, don't get me wrong. It does increase your score, but you really just have to pay it down to 30%. And so I asked further, what do you mean by that? Well, let's say you had $10,000 credit cards, right? Personal credit cards, and you had $9,000 charged to it. That's a lot. That's 90% debt to credit ratio or debt utilization. That's high. What's good is 30%. So as long as you get your personal credit card's debt to 30% or lower, you're fine. You don't have to get to 0%, just get to 30%. So instead of paying $9,000, let's say it's a $10,000 credit card, instead of paying $9,000 of debt, just pay 9,000 minus 3,000 is 6,000. Just pay off 6,000, and you can use the other 3,000 instead of paying it all the way down to zero. Use the other 3,000 to use towards your investment property or your business. So that's what I recommend. Take a look at your debt utilization, run your credit. You can get access to your credit report using 100pfcreditcheck.com, 100pf, P as in percent, F as in finance, 100pfcreditcheck.com. Order your credit report, see your debt utilization, and just start to pay it down. Whatever is in your financial means to do so. But there's another way to improve your debt utilization outside of paying down the personal debt. Ask for credit line increases, right? So if you have that $10,000 personal credit card, reach out to them, the representative, the 1-800 number on the back of the card, right? Call the 1-800 number, and just ask them to increase limits without doing a hard pull. Ask them to do it as a courtesy. Now, they will not always say yes, but just call often, once a month, to request a credit line increase as a courtesy, because you need higher limits, because you want to further improve your credit score, you want to use this car and pay it off in a month, you want to use it to grow your business and so forth. All right, so that's the bonus. Debt utilization. You don't have to pay it all the way down to zero. You can if you want, don't get me wrong, it'll further boost your score, of course, but as long as you pay it down to 30% of the maximum limit, you're good to go. So that's it, guys. If you're interested in learning more about credit or business funding, or even applying for it, just to see where you stand, just check the links below to learn more and to apply so that we can give you that consultation that you need. As always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.